Hello, fellow Americans, patriots, deplorables, and the like, and non-deplorables. I don't want to make this into a political issue, and it shouldn't be, because a crime is a crime. And this is about this swamp, not the swamp in D.C., but the swamp in Hollywood. Now, I'm not sure how deep this person's corruption goes, if it just ends at defrauding people, or if it also includes pedophilia, as so many Hollywood people seem to be starting to be tied into. And so I thought I should at least try to bring this to light to everyone. And this may be a hard pill for some people to swallow, and because so many people are fans. In 1974, George Lucas stole Jedi Knights in the Force from a 7-year-old kid. And I know, because I am that kid. His cousin lived around the corner from me, and I'll show you pictures of where he lived. Here's a Google map, and you can see both of our addresses, and here they are on the Suburban Directory from 1974. And you can go to the library in Louisville and get a copy of that as well. His name was Jack Hamburger, which I'm not 100% sure. I'm 99.9% sure. The next house over, there was 5707 Robinwood Road, which is Jack Hamburger's, and the next house over was a Freeman. So it was one or the other, and I'm pretty sure it was 5707 Robinwood Road. I lived at 5513 Riata Boulevard, Louisville, Kentucky. I still to this day haven't figured out if he never really planned on keeping his word, or if it was just something he did and then thought about it later and said, "Oh, I better not tell anybody." My father took us, all me and my two brothers, to see Star Wars in 1977. And when he first said the word Jedi Knight, I said, "Isn't that mine?" And my father said, "No, that's his." And I put it out of my head and never really thought about it again until 1999, when my mother was telling that story. A story about me falling on a Tinker Toy. And I said, "That's not what happened. I didn't fall on a Tinker Toy." This boy, Jack Hamburger, pointed a piece of rebar at my face, and then you got to go watch the other videos and you'll understand. I'm trying to keep this video kind of brief and short and get to the point. There is a swamp in Hollywood. That's not the only time he robbed me. I did not remember the thing that happened when I was a kid. I wrote a short version of another book I wrote called Rod of Iron. Excuse my editing here, but he was supposed to, Lucasfilm said they sent me back a letter saying they didn't accept unpublished material, and they sent back this envelope with that letter in it, and my book, a short version I wrote to them, wasn't in it. So they kept the short version of my story, and I saw part of it in 3 movies. Yeah, and it was supposed to be kind of loosely based on Jesus, and I was doing, my own take of the end times and all that. And, because he's supposed to return and rule with a rod of iron. That was sort of the whole principle of it. I made another video about that. You can go back and look at it. I think I left that one. I might not have. I erased. I had like 50 videos up that seemed to be too repetitive, so I erased the vast majority of them, left a few up, because a couple of them were up before I realized he had actually managed to steal the only evidence I did really have, other than all the paperwork where I tried to track down George Lucas. It was the evidence where I tried to track down his cousin, and not him himself, but his cousin. So I have all that. And then when he tried to have me arrested, when I just tried to talk to him about what he did, and I was trying to make a peaceable negotiation with him, and he wanted nothing to do with it, because I guess he figured he would be caught in a crime if he admitted that he did what he did. So, nonetheless, he still did it. I had a piece of evidence. It was a piece of paper that I wrote Jedi Knights in the Force on, and drew a little car on the bottom of the page in 1974, just months after the whole incident with him and his cousin Jack Hamburger. We lived in West Palm Beach, Florida, because like I told you, we moved around a lot. My mom and me and my brothers, we all moved to West Palm Beach, Florida. I wrote that on a piece of paper, put it in a plastic sleeve that had our documents in it, birth certificate, medical records, and even like we had little shot records, I think, too, and all immunization records. So all those, each one of us had our own sleeve with all that in it. Mine disappeared with that piece of paper in it and everything. So somehow someone found out where mine was, which the only thing they could have been doing was tapping my phone, because there's only 2 people who knew, and I talked to them and tried to get them to go get it, and they didn't, and now it's gone. I think they could have saved me, at least I would have had the evidence to prove what I'm saying. At least some evidence. I mean, right now I still have circumstantial evidence, and if I can get FBI or CIA help to subpoena the records for the day I went to the hospital and get those records again, because the hospital said they don't have them, and the microfiche or nothing. And I don't, something's fishy about that, because I don't understand how they wouldn't have records that were actually, anyway, it doesn't matter. If they were stored on microfiche, why wouldn't they still be there? If we could find the records for that day and then subpoena that boy's phone records, I guarantee you, from the time I was in the hospital having my palate reattached, because it almost killed me when he pointed the rebar at my face, I came off my feet. So if you go back from that 45 minutes from that time that hospital, I come in that hospital door, if you can find that hospital record, back it up and then subpoena the phone records for Jack Henniger's house from that time, 45 minutes, I guarantee you'll find calls to or from George Lucas from Jack Henniger's house, where I talked to him on the phone, and he took Jedi Knights into Force from me and told me he was going to make me rich and famous, and never did anything. At the time, I was also already a semi-handicapped child, because I had pulled a percolator down on me when I was a kid. It stuck to my face and shoulder. I'm not a person who goes around crying about everything. I work for a living. I always have, always will. The important issue is that the truth come out, that he took Jedi Knights into Force from a 7-year-old kid. When you know what I'm saying, right is right, wrong is wrong, however you want to look at it. He did something wrong, and he needs to answer for it. He needs to come out and tell the truth. Aliens, robots, all that had been done already. The only thing that really made it unique was what he stole from me. Jedi Knights in the Force, he stole from me when I was 7. So say what you want. You can go watch the other videos. I just wish there was a way for me to record my memories and play them back to people. I'm more than willing to take a polygraph test anytime anybody wants me to. I'm not afraid to. I know the truth. I know what George Lucas did to me when I was 7 years old. I know what he took. And I don't mean to ruin all of your opinions about Star Wars, and I kind of like the movies too, until I remembered the truth in 1999, and it was like a ton of bricks got dropped on me. Anyway, take care.